I'm on vacation every single day, cause I love my occupation. Hey, I'm on vacation. If you don't like your life, then you should go and change it. Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, cause I love my occupation. Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, every single day.
Welcome to Keyless Corp. So, for me to create this channel is to help you and to help me. I get to teach, which I love doing, and you get to learn and you get to ask questions, and then I get to research and try and explain it in such a way that it's easier. So the goal here is to teach something that somebody off the streets would understand, right? So let me talk about myself a little bit. I was born in India and then moved to Canada in about 2007. That's where I reside now. I finished most of my schooling in Canada up until high school. Prior to high school, during high school, I was in the Air Cadets program. And through that, I was at a summer camp. And this is the story of how I really got into aviation. Gimli, Manitoba, where they had the vintage wings of Canada. They came in with the Harvard II at the time. And I had no idea. I had no idea at the point what I wanted to do or anything. So one of my instructors, they brought me into a room and he says, look, I have this opportunity for you to go fly with this pilot, and it'll be about a 30-minute flight, but you'd need permission from your parents. So I make a phone call. I asked my parents if I could go and do this, and they said, yeah, absolutely. So I hop in the plane with the pilot. Moments later, when we hit cruise, he just handed me the controls, and it was one of those joysticks, because it's a World War II aircraft, which is the Harvard II, as I mentioned before, and it was a joystick, and I just held on. I made turns, this and that, and I had the biggest smile on my face. I can still recall everything. I can recall the picture, exact moment of me realizing that this is what I wanted to do. So I'm smiling ear to ear right now, and then the pilot takes controls. We're getting close, and he lands the plane. As soon as I get on the ground, I call my parents. I said, look, I know what I want to be. We'll make it happen. I don't want to do anything else. And this is what I said. And that's when the dream began. So after that, I finished high school in about 2016. After which, went to flight school in 2017, just at the beginning. And that was down in the States, Chicago, Illinois. It wasn't obviously at O'Hare, so it was at DuPage Airport. And that's where I started my training. And I met great people that had a lot more life experience than I did, right? I was straight out of high school, and I got into it. There's a lot of people, very, very educated people that I met there that were engineers, and they had multiple backgrounds before coming into aviation. And so I got to meet these incredible people, learn a lot from them, and I met this incredible mechanic who basically shaped my aviation career, because I would help him out, and he would teach me a lot of things about the airplanes, but not just that, life in general as well. So yeah, I finished my flight training in about 1 year and 7 months it took, and then I came back to Canada. Did my license conversion. That took about another year or so. And 2019, I joined this company, which I work with now. And recently, I went from the Pilatus PC-12 to going on to the ATR, and I will be training on that soon. So that's really the introduction of myself. Today, I just kind of want to go over weather, and a brief introduction to weather. I don't want to get into details. We'll get into that later. So why do we, as pilots, why do we even care about weather? What's weather? Who cares, right? No, weather as a pilot is everything. It revolves around your planning. You have to plan your alternate because of weather. You have to plan, blah, blah, blah. There's a million things that come into factor. But weather is the most important because it affects us the most. right? It affects us as aviators. So my next question would be, what causes weather, right? What would cause such a thing, right? So Earth, let's talk about Earth first. Our Earth is round. Let's be clear. It's round, but it's not perfectly round. Okay, it's got uneven edges, right? It's got mountains, it's got rivers, it's got deep oceans, right? So it's deformed, is what it is. It's not a perfect marble as you see it on the Discovery Channel, or as you would see it on a Space Channel or something like that. So because of that, we get unequal heating of the Earth's surface, right? So the sun is what heats the Earth. If you didn't know that, oh, sorry. So the sun heats up our Earth, and it's unequal heating. So the unequal heating causes what our weather is, right? So the heat is absorbed onto the Earth's land and into the waters. Now that heat wants to obviously escape, right? So it's gonna escape, and that's really what causes weather is unequal heating of the Earth's surface. So next, I want to talk to you guys about the Earth's atmosphere. There's several layers, and the way I remember it is I use an acronym. For everything you will notice, I use acronyms, and you can make up your own, obviously. But I typically like mine because they're very niche. They're different. They're attention grabbing is what I like to call them. Whatever, but you decide. So I go with the standard meet thawed exponentially. So which is the troposphere, which is our lowest layer of atmosphere. It's typically where airplanes cruise. So that typically goes from 0 to 20 kilometers. Right? 0 meaning Earth's surface, up to 20 kilometers in the air. And that's typically where airplanes cruise around. And then there's the stratosphere, which is the standard, right? The standard meet thawed exponentially. Standard means stratosphere. So stratosphere goes from 20 kilometers to 50 kilometers. After standard comes meet. So meet is mesosphere. And that typically goes from 50 to 80 kilometers. That's where you typically see meteors or shooting stars, right? And that's where all that hangs around. Next would be thermosphere. And that's typically where the northern lights happen. Very interesting, right? I love northern lights. Maybe you haven't seen northern lights, but you have to go up to Canada or down south all the way. And that's the thermosphere, right? And that typically goes from 85 to 900 or 690 kilometers up in the air. And then the next we have exosphere, which is the most outer atmosphere, and that goes from 690 to 10,000 kilometers. And that's typically where the satellites hang around. But I forgot to mention the ozone layer. So the ozone layer sits right in between the troposphere and the stratosphere. So the initial two, the troposphere, right above our Earth's atmosphere, and then stratosphere. And this right here is where our ozone layer is. So what is the ozone layer? Why do we care about it, right? Everybody talks about the ozone layer is depleting, right? And everybody starts freaking out. So what the ozone layer is basically a layer of oxygen that's protecting us humans from radiation. Radiation is huge, right? If you were exposed to radiation for a long amount of time, you're gonna get cancer, right? We still have radiation that we experience every day, but it's not as severe because of the ozone layer, which is what protects us. So I also want to talk about northern lights. Why do we see northern lights? So we see northern lights because charged particles from the sun, so the energized radiation, right now these charged particles, it hits our atmosphere, and our atmosphere has, not just oxygen molecules, but a lot more. But When the charged particles hit the oxygen molecules, they disperse the light, the Earth's oxygen, and it causes a light and emits a light. And that's what causes our northern lights, which is really interesting. I had to search this one. Who knew, right? Well, Google knew. And now I know. And then now you guys know. Cool. Next, so the atmospheres are done. Next, I want to talk about moisture. So typically before talking about moisture, I like to talk about air. So us as humans, you and I, in the hot summer heat, if I'm sitting all by myself and some other person comes next to me, sits right up to me, it's gonna get really hot, right? Like, you're already hot, he's probably sweating, he or she's probably sweating, and you want them to get away from me, right? Just get out, I'm sweaty, like, don't touch me. Think of our air just like us. So air wants to stay up further apart in the summer because it's so hot. They don't want to be close. They're like, oh no, heck no, just get away from me. In winter, what would we want to do? We'd want to huddle up, right? So if we're outside, no source of heat, we're going to cuddle up and create our own little heat, right? Because we're radiating the heat. And that's the same thing the air molecules in winter want to do. They want to get close so they're not as cold. So now, how this relates to moisture is with more room, like in the summer, let's go back to summertime. In the summertime, the molecules are further apart. So it leaves all of this room right in between for moisture to form and for moisture to stick around. So the hotter it is, the more moisture the air can hold. The colder it is, the less moisture, because in the winter, molecules are very close together and there's not much room for the water molecules. In our next video, we'll talk a lot more we'll get into details of weather, but that's it for today. See you guys next time.